Hey, MCARBO brother. I'm Chris Nelson, president of MCARBO. Really excited to introduce new CZ75 stainless steel guide rods and X-Power recoil springs for various models. So the SP01 and the standard CZ75 as well as the compact. We're going to review that in this video. So just showing you how to put in the stainless steel guide rods, what they look like, some of the features we kept and we improved upon, and also the X-Power recoil springs and which models they go into. But if you get on the website, it'll show you exactly which ones are compatible with what. There's a ton of CZ75 models, so it can definitely be a little confusing trying to figure it out, but we laid it out as clear, straightforward as we possibly could, but you can always hit us up with a question. Pretty straightforward process. Let's get on over tabletop, show you how we did this. All right, guys, as usual, let's go ahead and check our firearms together, make sure they're clear. I already checked these, they're good to go, but just check yours, chamber, bolt face, magazine well. Right here, we got the CZ75 SP01. We got the CZ75 compact here, and we got the CZ75B Omega here. These are the three we're going to be using for the example. Going to put in the X-Power recoil spring and the stainless steel guide rods through all three configurations. We don't have an X-Power recoil spring for the compact yet. It is a flat wire, a little bit more difficult, but we'll see how these go, and if you guys want one for this, we'll certainly do it. Tools needed for this build, I'm just going to use a hammer and a micro tip. Just going to assist with getting the slide lock out on all three of these. You can probably just do it by hand. You don't need this, but it makes it a little easier. I'm doing three. And always make sure you're wearing iPro. All right, let's go through all of this real quick so you can see I've got the CZ75B Omega over here. I've got the CZ Compact here. And I've got the CZ SP01 over here. Kind of lined everything up so you got a general idea of which parts go with which. The CZ75 stainless steel guide rod, the CZ75 X-Power recoil spring works with the CZ75B, the CZ75B Omega, the CZ75B / single action, the CZ75BD, CZ75 Pre-B, the CZ85B, and the CZ85C. So all those models, it'll work for this type here, the standard CZ75 options, X-Power recoil spring and guide rod, and you'll see it's that short little guy right there. Then moving over to your CZ75 compact, you've only got one option for right now due to it being a flat wire recoil spring in there. We didn't try it yet. We just wanted to see what you guys thought of these X-Power recoil springs we got for the other options first, but certainly did as 316 stainless steel guide rod option. These are all 316 stainless steel. Love them with a high polish finish. They look friggin' amazing. They look like chrome when you get them out. So really like that we did that. And we're gonna be doing that in all of our guide rods now, just doing that high polish. Looks really nice. So the 316 stainless steel CZ75 compact guide rod will work for the compact, obviously. It'll work for the 40P. It'll work for the 75D PCR. It'll also work for the P01 and the P01 Omega. So if you got a P01, this is the one you want, the compact. If you got a 75D PCR, this is one you want, the compact model. All right, moving on over to the SP01. So we got the CZ75 SP01 right here. You can see we've got a CZ75 SP01 X-Power recoil spring and 316 stainless steel guide rod option, high polish, love it. It'll work for CZ75 SP01, CZ75 SP01 Phantom, the SP01 with a manual safety, and the SP01 tactical decocker model, and then also work for the Shadow 1. So these two will both work for the Shadow 1 as well. So X-Power recoil spring and the guide rod options will work for those models. Basically all the SP01s plus the Shadow 1. All right, so we're gonna start off with the CZ75B Omega first. Pretty simple, they're all gonna be the same. You're gonna notice there's a tick mark here on the frame and a tick mark on the slide. We just line those up, and that allows us to knock out the slide stop here. So just keep them lined up, and I'm gonna take my hammer and just give a little tap over here, and that allows me to basically just pull it right out from here. You can use a micro tip to pry it out as well. Should be pretty simple, and it goes back in this orientation just like that. So we'll set that down. Go ahead and pull the slide right off, and you'll notice our plastic guide rod in here, the only piece of plastic internally on the CZ75, so we definitely thought it was a great idea to replace that, give us some more longevity, some premium look here, and obviously it's a CZ75. I mean, the whole thing is really nice, paid good money for it, but of course, always a little cost-saving measure in there somewhere. Mass production, it's just natural. You'll notice we replicated everything on this little guy, you know, even this little tab right here, which this tab on the head of that guide rod locates on that little milled out pocket right there. We also included a little snap ring feature, so you notice this kind of just loosely hangs on there, so we're gonna change that. Another thing we can do is kind of compare the tension, and I'd recommend it too, just kind of feel your slide tension before you put in the X-Power recoil spring. You know, this is gonna give you a little extra percentage, you know, 15% stronger in the case of this one, the CZ75B, the standard option, but with the SP01, it's 20% stronger, so we didn't want to go too crazy. We want to give you a little something to fine tune with your standard factory ammo and your defensive carry ammo, so gives you that good opportunity there to fine tune it. So we'll go ahead and open these up. I'm just gonna rip them open. You can save the bags, you know, but for me and sake of time here in the filming, I'm just ripping these babies open. Got a few of them to do. All right, and our CZ75 stainless steel guide rod. Go ahead and rip that open. All right, you'll notice these things just blinging. So you'll notice we kept that feature right there, that little tab to locate into that milled out pocket in the barrel. And we got this little ring right here that'll allow you to actually get that recoil spring to snap in place, which is nice. All right, we'll take our extra power recoil spring. You'll notice one end is kind of coned down like this, it tapers. All right, so that's the end that's gonna go against the slide. And this end that's pretty much uniform all the way through is the end that we're gonna lock into the guide rod. So you kind of snap it in place, kind of feel it snap and lock, and it'll retain just like that, which is cool. So one complete piece now, unlike the factory setup where it just kind of loosely hangs in there. But you'll notice the factory one too, how it tapers down, at the end there. So we're just replicating all of that, so pretty straightforward. We'll take our stainless steel guide rod or extra power recoil spring for the CZ75 standard models, and we'll just compress it all the way in. All right, and get it to locate in that little pocket. So you can see how it basically locates right in that little pocket there. You can push it side to side. All right, we're good to go. So now we can just slide it back on and we are done. And then we can just kind of feel the difference between the extra power and the standard spring. Remember, we're gonna line up our little tick marks here, just like we did to take it apart. We'll get our slide stop in this orientation, drop it right through, and then we're gonna compress it all the way in, and we are good to go. You can feel your slide tension now. Oh yeah. Allows you to kind of stabilize your platform a little bit better. It's gonna be a little stiffer, but not a whole terrible lot. We didn't want to make it anything drastic. It's just a way to fine tune it, and the recoil springs wear out over time anyway. So if you've shot a ton of rounds through it, maybe it's older, it's probably time to replace it. Definitely start noticing any more malfunctions than usual. Definitely a sign to start replacing springs too, especially recoil springs. So we'll put the CZ75 away. We did that, good to go. We'll do the other ones. Same kind of simple concept, nothing drastic. Removing this, pulling the slide out, quick replacement, done. All right guys, before we put the CZ75 compact stainless steel guide rod in there, I just wanted to point out, because probably most of you haven't really looked at it that closely, and you're about to now that you're putting the stainless steel option there. You'll see the plastic guide rod, how it sticks out. It sticks out a little bit further than the stainless steel option. So just wanted to make sure you're aware and it's not something that catches you off guard and you're like, oh. I mean, you will notice it more now that it's stainless steel and it's not black, but obviously there's some design constraints there. We can't go super short and have it not function properly, but it's certainly a premium look, premium function, much better than plastic, and just wanted you to be well aware that the plastic does stick out. The stainless steel is a little shorter than the plastic, so it wouldn't stick out as much. We just did the best we could to avoid any sort of functional impact, but also give you a little bit of aesthetics and obviously a good clean look too. All right, same deal. Go ahead and pull back, line up those tick marks. We've got the compact here. We're gonna just pop out the factory plastic guide rod and put in the stainless steel, 316 stainless steel, high polished option. Really love that. All right, so if it's a little stiff, you can just use your little micro tip, just pop it right out. Pretty handy for that. All right, just make sure we get it back in the proper orientation. So you can see it goes in like this. There's really only one way to put it in. I mean, you couldn't even put it in this way. So there's one way to put it in, pretty simple and straightforward. All right, pull the slide right off, and you can see there's your flat wire recoil spring, and you've got your plastic guide rod in there. So you can see it's got that little locating tab as well on this one. Little milled out pocket there in the barrel for it to locate into. So we replicated that, just like to keep that function. So here's our CZ75 compact 316 stainless steel guide rod, high polish. It'll work for the CZ75B compact, right? It'll work for the 40P, the 75D PCR. It'll work for the P01, P01 Omega. You've got options. So basically the P01, the 75D PCR, and the compact, this is your guide rod right here. High polish, 316 stainless steel, looks awesome. And you got that little feature for it to locate into. So replicated everything. I mean, it's perfect. Really love what we did here to give you some nice premium options here. It's the last piece of plastic in your CZ pistol. So you'll notice these plastic ones will kind of bend and warp and they'll wear. Do you have to replace it? No, not necessarily. I mean, you can get away with it, but do you want that for a lifetime? To me, it just drives me nuts. So awesome premium option there. There's no going back. Once you go stainless, you don't go back. You don't want plastic. Plastic inside guns just seems wrong. All right, so we're gonna put this baby back together, line up the tick marks, and drop in your slide stop just like that. Press it all the way through, and we are good to go. So you can see your stainless steel tip right there. That's something that will be different as opposed to the black, but nice finished look there. You can see it doesn't really protrude too far. It's matching the same OEM geometry, so We want to make sure the function was exactly right, and it looks good. A little 45-degree taper on the end there. Perfect. It's a nice stainless steel replacement for the CZ75 Compact, the 75D PCR, or the P01, Omega and Standard. Easy. Done. All right, last but not least, CZ75 SP01. So we'll go ahead and we will line up our little tick marks back here. We're gonna pop out that slide stop, and we're gonna do a quick little replacement. Let's pull that little baby out. It's the orientation it goes back in. Go ahead and pull our slide off, and we'll take a look at the inside here. So this one in particular, notice how this plastic guide rod is bending under the tension. All right, so we had to get pretty creative here on making a guide rod for this. So you can see the little tab that locates, you can see the little milled pocket on the barrel once again. All right, so we made something to locate, of course, but we had to make something that would obviously fit and function properly. And look how wavy this plastic one is. So definitely something to think about and contend with. Really unique how this functions. So take a look at the stainless steel option here. So I'm gonna rip this baby open and we will compare them. You're probably gonna be like, whoa, what did you guys do there? So we had to make sure that it would function, obviously, and we had to get a little creative here in the center. So with the design of the CZ75 SP01 models, you know, and this stainless steel guide rod will work for all the SP01s, the Phantom, the manual safety, the tactical decocker, and also the Shadow 1. Let's go ahead and open up the recoil spring while we're at it. Extra power recoil spring, 20% stronger. And I can kind of get into this a little bit more. So recoil spring, same on both sides, so just go ahead and drop in the guide rod. There's that little locating feature as well. So you'll notice when we put this in, there's got to be enough clearance for the spring to get in and function and operate properly. So that's why we had to go thinner diameter here at this critical point on the guide rod. So this one definitely, being plastic, it's bending, it's flexing, just destined to break eventually at some point in time. The SP01s, the guide rod takes a ton of abuse. So this is something that I would highly recommend replacing. I mean, if any of them are gonna break, it's definitely on the SP01 models. And I really like what we did here to make a stainless steel guide rod for this model. This thing looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, this really came together really nice, a lot of complexity here, and you guys get to reap the benefit. It's fantastic. This is a premium part to replace that internal plastic that is under some definite stress and tension. So extra power recoil spring with the stainless steel guide rod. So we push it in and notice how everything is kind of going together. See how the spring goes, you know, kind of an S shape as you're compressing it. And that's something that we had to contend with. And on this one, you're gonna have to make sure you get the hole lined up, obviously. As you're compressing it, you wanna compress it all the way through. So this one can be a little more difficult and a little bit more tighter to get it all the way in and locate into that front hole on the slide. There you go. So get a good grip on it, push it all the way through, and get it to clear that forward hole there on the slide, and then get it to lock into the barrel just like that. So you can see why that plastic one is definitely all bent out of shape. And we certainly maintain the function by necking it down in the center there, which is nice. And we added a little more extra power here to the recoil spring to help you tame and fine tune this CZ75 SP01. Really love what we were able to achieve here. I mean, this plastic is definitely not going to last all that tension and potentially be a catastrophic failure point for the CZ75 SP01. So glad we did this one. Really excited to hear the feedback on this in particular one. Definitely took us some time to make something that fit function properly. All right, so we'll line up the tick marks again, drop it right in, tick marks back here, drop it in our slide stop, snap in place, and we are good to go. Look at that little baby, it's awesome. Definitely a little bit more tension on there too, help you stabilize it, giving you some good opportunities to fine tune this baby and obviously shoot flatter, straighter, less muzzle flip, less felt recoil, so accurately engage round after round, keeping your sights on target. Much faster to require subsequent targets after each round fired. So really love this extra performance we get out of it. There you go, guys. No more internal plastic for your CZ75. So great way to improve the performance and longevity and reliability on these CZ75. So the SP01, really impressed with this one, how we were able to make this happen. Extra power recoil spring, and also the other models, stainless steel guide rods, extra power recoil spring. So we got you covered. More options for your CZ75s. Really excited about this. You guys asked for them, so we made them. Thank you, MCARBO Brotherhood, for all your ideas and your support. And as always, happy shooting.